Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Virtual Outdoors. We are here to hopefully connect you to nature via inspiration. My name is Casie Berkhouse, and here at Lackawanna, I teach biology, ecology, and beekeeping. So today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about bees. I'll give you a tour of our apiary that you see behind us. I would like to talk a little bit about how a honeybee is created from start to an adult. And I'd also like to tell you the answer to a question that I get asked all of the time as a beekeeper. How is honey made? So let's get started by taking a tour of our apiary. You can see that all 4 of our hive boxes are abuzz with the bees. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so now that we got to say hi a little bit to each one of our hives, let's talk about how a honeybee grows. So a queen bee is the only bee to lay fertilized eggs. She lays 2 kinds of eggs, a fertilized female egg or an unfertilized male egg. A female egg is for worker bees or the queen bee, and an unfertilized egg is for drone bees. However, they all start out the same way. The queen sticks her very long abdomen into the bottom of a cell and places an egg straight up and down like you see here, straight up and down. The egg looks like a grain of rice. It's about the same color as a grain of rice, and it's about the width of a sewing pin. So it's very, very thin. It's standing straight up and down. And then within 24 hours, it kind of flops over into a prone position on its side, and the worker bees feed it royal jelly for 3 days. After 3 days, a larva emerges. The larva looks like a little worm laying at the bottom of a cell on its side. And if you were to look at a frame full of honeybee larvae, they look like little mandarin oranges at the bottom of the cell, like this. And then about day 5, worker bees put a cap on the cell after feeding honey and pollen, of course. After the 3 days of receiving royal jelly, honeybees are then fed honey and pollen, and the queen bee is fed exclusively royal jelly throughout her life. So after those 5 days of being a larva, the worker bees cap the cells, and a pupa is grown. This pupa wraps a cocoon around itself and continues to grow into an adult bee. Depending on if it is a queen, a drone, or a worker bee, it then emerges by chewing its way out of the wax cap and emerges into the world as a fully grown adult bee. Okay, last but not least today, I wanted to explain a question I get asked all the time. How do bees make honey? So it takes more than one bee to make honey, and amazingly, one bee makes less than a teaspoon of honey in her whole entire lifetime. So a bee starts out as a worker bee on the inside of the hive. She has jobs to do like cleaning out cells or feeding brood or taking care of the queen. And then when she's a little bit older, she leaves the hive to go forage for pollen and nectar. Nectar is how honey is made. A bee has a very long tongue called a proboscis, and she finds a beautiful, delicious flower and sticks her proboscis down into where the nectar is and sucks it out of the flower. Then she puts that nectar into what is called her honey stomach. It's in the front of a bee, and it is exclusively for nectar that will be turned into honey. Starting immediately when the nectar hits the honey stomach, enzymes start taking some of the water out of the nectar. And then when the bee arrives back into her colony, a worker bee will take that nectar out of the honey stomach and finish it in her own body by adding more enzymes to take more of the water content out of the nectar. Lastly, the worker bee will place the soon-to-be honey throughout the comb, and then all of the worker bees will fan their wings quickly to dry out the remaining water in the nectar to create what we know is that nice, thick, delicious honey. And then bees eat it throughout their lifetime, all through winter, or we human beings extract it as a resource. I like to put it in my coffee or my tea, or even bake with it. Honey is great. Thanks for listening to me today, and I'm very much looking forward to when we can resume normal activities and all of you can come up and see us at the Environmental Education Center. Until then, take a walk, enjoy nature, smell the clean of earth, and take care of it because it takes care of you.